Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on the live theater. You know I love it. Now in its 65th season, the Milwaukee Repertory Theater is presenting the August Wilson Classic, Two Trains Running. That's going on now through May 12th. My first guest is Andrea Williams, who plays the role of Holloway in Two Trains Running. How are you, Mr. Williams?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being here. And this is your Milwaukee Rep debut, but you have quite a resume. So let's start off finding out about some of the productions that you've done and when you realized that you had been bitten by the acting bug.
Oh, well, that came early. I realized I have 5 brothers and sisters, and I'm the youngest. And I recognized early on that if I did certain things, they would react. So I had my audience right away. But it was a 4th grade trip, school trip, to the theater that is a co-producer with this show, Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. And our school stayed for a talk back after the performance. And it was revealed to me that these people got paid to do what they do, and I was done.
Say no more. Okay, it was figured all out.
It.
I love that. And so you've played in productions like the Colored Museum to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and then on the TV side, I think people will be intrigued to know that you've done The Wire, Losing Isaiah, and Homicide: Life on the Streets, just to name a few. So how long have you been acting professionally?
It's year number 29.
Wow.
And chasing it for the longest, and then concentrating on television and film early. And then the year my daughter was born, realizing that I can't do that and be a good dad, or at least try to be a good father. So kind of quieted the television and film components, but stayed with the voice work and the stage work. And she's going to be a freshman next year, so I'm going to prepare myself to jump back in the game in 4 years.
All right, so I said that this is your debut at the Milwaukee Rep, but you do have some ties to Wisconsin. Explain, please.
Oh yeah, I had some wonderful years back in the late 70s and early 80s at Beloit College, and I'm looking forward that a lot of my folks are going to be coming to see this show. Some are be coming to Milwaukee Rep for the first time. There's some family here from Cincinnati who I've reached out to. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, I've only been here a week, and I've tried to stay focused on my work, but I'm also looking forward to enjoying it a little bit.
Well, we're hoping you don't have to try to stay warm for too long, okay?
Yeah, right.
Let's pray those warmer temperatures kick in soon. So Two Trains Running was first performed at the Yale Repertory Theater in 1990 and made its way to Broadway in 1992. So let's talk about the plot and the setting and all those things.
Well, you know, it's just a really intimate look at a day in the life of these people who were surviving Pittsburgh and what Pittsburgh was serving them in the 1969 year. So we're talking civil rights. The issue of Malcolm X is raised in the play. And something that ironically is still a very fervent issue, I know, here in Cincinnati and in Maryland and DC where we are, which is gentrification. And the fact that he wrote this play for '69 and it's now 2019 and we're still talking about gentrification means gentrification is stronger than we gave it credit for.
Wow, yeah. So Two Trains Running is taking place in the Hill District of Pittsburgh, you mentioned, in 1969. And that was one of the most prosperous, culturally active black neighborhoods in the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
But then the 60s roll around and it takes a sharp economic decline. So a lot of this is important to realize when watching Two Trains Running.
Yeah, and it was a forced decline. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but the city of Pittsburgh decided that they were going to build a hockey stadium. And they decided to build it such that it would cut off the main arteries into the Hill District. And that's what they did. And the resulting gentrification was almost predictable, and it's still in effect today. Thousands of people go in and watch the Pittsburgh Penguins play hockey without realizing the impact that that building had not only on the Hill District, but on the city of Pittsburgh itself.
Wow, and it's amazing because I know people watching will automatically think that this kind of reminds them of Bronzeville and what it went through here in the city. There was a highway built right between this amazing neighborhood, which is making its way back to, you know, everything that it represented back then, but it happens in cities all over America.
I think it's a blueprint.
And the neighborhood is made up of folks who migrated to this northern industrial city in Pittsburgh to escape poverty, racism, and the segregation that was taking place in the South. And so if you would talk about your character, Holloway.
This man, he has a desperate need to believe in a higher power. And I think in my childhood in Cincinnati and Dayton, you know, and I'm the son of a preacher, so you had to believe in some higher power, otherwise you couldn't face the next day. So this guy espouses on that need and tries to educate those around him about this need for this mythical figure in this play, who is a figure that's only seen in one of August Wilson's plays, but alluded to throughout the cycle on Esther. And he basically just does his best to let folks know that if they just go see Aunt Esther, and Aunt Esther is a mythical figure about faith. You have to have faith in something else because we can't endure what we're enduring on a consistent basis unless we do. So this character is an amazing soul, and I played him 5 years ago at a different time in my life, and to be able to climb inside of him every night, it's just a blessing, and I go out every night thinking this might be the last time I get to play this guy, so I'm leaving nothing.
Now that makes it exciting to get prepared to see this in itself. So Holloway is a retired house painter,
yes.
Am I correct? And I'm interested in knowing, you say to climb into this character every night does something special for you. How did you prepare to take on this role?
Well, everybody has what they call a process. My approach as I've gotten older is to trust my life as the process. And with this particular character, I knew this guy when I was a kid. I had uncles like him. And he
walked around with paint on his hands and his clothes.
Yeah. And you know, if you didn't know them in your nuclear family or your somewhat extended family, you met them at the barbershop or you met them at District Sunday. So just the fact that I had this richness in my world, and then the beauty of the gift of being able to share that on public stages. I mean, you know, I put these clothes on and every night, and I'm aware that this is an honor. And I treat it as such.
I love that. And speaking of characters, two well-known actors that live right here in Milwaukee co-star in this production of Two Trains Running. They both appeared on our issues as well, Makia Stampley and Chike Johnson, who are actually married in real life.
Yes.
And so, am I correct, they have a romantic involvement in this play as well?
Well, I'm not going to cheat that. But I will say to you that meeting these two people and working with them, again, has been a blessing because the other folks in the play, we all have stage time together in the past. But meeting Malkia and Chike, they were the newbies for about 6 minutes. And we have embraced, all of us have embraced each other in a manner that doesn't happen with casts, and I've done this a long time. So for us, you know, you use the word co-star. No, they're the stars. We're the co-stars, especially here in Milwaukee.
Well, I think all of you together are stars, and so you're each other's co-stars.
Well, they are the superstars here in Milwaukee, and we are quite aware of that.
I love that. So really a lot of humble people on the stage together who are allowing their talents to really just come through, and I'm sure the audience feels every piece of it. So I have not had a chance to come through yet, but I am on my way. You better believe it. And I always love talking to actors like yourself before I see it, because I walk in with a whole different understanding.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping that that is what happens for our viewers as well, that they have a better understanding going through the doors of the Milwaukee Rep to see 2 Trains Running, because they've heard this conversation today.
I hope so as well.
So Malkia, she was actually quoted in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as saying that doing an August Wilson play is a check mark off her bucket list. How do you feel about August Wilson and having an opportunity to be in one of his productions?
Well, I've done 7 of the 10 in the cycle.
Wow.
And at one point in the 90s, I had just finished a show at Huntington Theater Company in Boston, and August was coming there to rewrite Jitney. And I was able to hang out for about 9 days.
Oh, wow.
And just talk his plays, the people, the voices that he was penning. And so for me, you know, as an actor, you get opportunities to do different things, and I have favorite playwrights that anytime I'm allowed to get up and speak their words, I'm on my best behavior. And this guy ranks up there with one of my 2 tops, and I try to do as much of their work as I possibly can.
Wow. So tell me the name of Malkia's character in 2 Trains.
Risa.
Risa. Okay. So Risa, I've heard someone say, is probably one of the most powerful characters, even though she may not have the most lines. And it's my understanding she actually scarred her own legs with a razor to actually keep men who are around her, I'm assuming, from being sexually interested in her. So that in itself is a powerful thing to know going in. Is she the only female on this cast?
Yes, she is. And
wow.
In a lot of August Wilson's plays, there are only a couple of women's voices, which has always kind of struck me as somewhat odd. But as a writer, I can imagine I know how difficult it is to try to put words in women's mouths. And I'm writing a script right now for young women and men, and my daughter's editing, because the words that come out of my mouth, out of my head, are not the words that they're saying, that they understand. So it's really kind of exciting, because I'll do 10 pages, and then she'll sit behind the computer and edit it. And I'll wake up the next morning, and it's different.
Oh, I love that.
It's fantastic.
That's amazing. So real quick, as we kind of wrap things up, in 2 Trains Running, your character Holloway is heavily affected by white people having the ability to make and interpret rules to the disadvantage of African Americans. And there are a lot of people who are living in today's world who feel like that scenario still exists.
It does. But the difference is we have tools to fight it. I'm doing it by doing my art. And I say to anybody who feels that and can probably put their finger on it, as soon as they do all of that, look in the mirror and start strategizing. Because I tell you what, if we stop fighting it, it won't stop. And me getting on this stage and spewing this man's words in as respectful a way as I possibly can is my way of pounding the pavement. Because I honestly believe if I stood out on the street in the city of Milwaukee and said some of the lines from this show, I might not be out there for too long.
And if you know classic August Wilson, then you already know what to expect. So I'm excited, just to say the least. But what I love about him and all of his work that I've had the opportunity to see is that he forces his characters to look into themselves and discover who they really are and what they really want. They have to figure out how they're going to go about making certain things happen, or how they're going to digest what's happening around them. And that's powerful in itself. So, of course, his production, Fences, got turned into a movie, in 2016 with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. So my question for you, can you envision or see 2 Trains Running, maybe somewhere down the line following in those footsteps?
Oh yeah, the plan that I'm understanding and my manager understands that they're going to do the whole cycle.
Oh, I love it.
And we're just waiting for some tidbits so we can submit. No shame in that game. But yeah, and in fact, the week that Fences broke in the movie theaters, we opened a production of it, the only live production of it that year at Pioneer Theater in Utah. Utah, dealing with those issues in fences.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have to tell you, with some trepidation, we went up there and we said this man's words with the respect, and those people were on their feet faster than they had ever been, according to their artistic director. So I know the power of this man's words.
Oh yeah, and that's what I love most about the theater, because it gives people an opportunity who's in the audience to live different experiences without actually being in a scenario or in a neighborhood, but through those characters, they have a better understanding of different lives and backgrounds, and that's thanks to the theater.
You can't say anything else.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It has been a pleasure.
Yes.
Michael Anthony Williams plays the role of Holloway in the August Wilson production of Two Trains Running. That's showing now through May 12th at the Milwaukee Rep. For ticket information, you can go to MilwaukeeRep.com or call 414-224-9490. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll take a look at a local children's theater that has grown to be one of the nation's most acclaimed children's theaters and the second largest theater company in Milwaukee. We'll find out more about First Stage Children's Theater right after this.
They live that long in the Bible. I ain't surprised to hear that. She look like she come out the Bible.
You going up there and see what she look like for yourself. I'm just telling you, she's 322 years old. Go up there and see her. I go up there and see her every once in a while, get my soul washed. She don't do nothing but lay her hands on your head. But it's a feeling like you ain't never felt it before.
I'm walking down Center Avenue, and the police was chasing somebody and wasn't looking where he was going. I wasn't looking where I was going either. Hit me so hard it knocked us both down. I started to get up. I had 2-3 police pointing their guns at my head, telling me not to move. Told me I was under arrest for obstructing justice.
I believe West loved his wife, and Bubba Boy loved his woman. Them's the only two people I can say found love. The rest of us, play at it. That's because love cost. Love got a price to it. Everybody don't want to pay. They want to put it on credit. Time it come due, they got it on credit somewhere else. That's what I done learned all these years.